Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, extreme temperatures across the country, with heat indexes reaching into the hundreds, what that means for us here in north central Florida.
Plus, a major hurricane making landfall in North America Thursday. We tell you why the storm's timing has experts worried about the rest of the hurricane season.
And negotiations underway between European and Iranian officials as President Trump decides whether the U.S. will get involved. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
It's the first day of summer, and it certainly feels like it here in north central Florida. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Magnel Loper.
And I'm Montalto. As temperatures reach dangerous levels in the U.S., an unprecedented hurricane hit south of the border Thursday with winds up to 125 miles per hour. The hurricane named Eric is the first major hurricane to strike the Pacific coast of Mexico before August. That's since tropical cyclone tracking began in 1949. The storm underwent rapid intensification from Tuesday night into Wednesday night, strengthening from a tropical storm to a Category 4 hurricane in under 24 hours. Experts state that extreme rapid intensification and changes in storm timing are part of increasing weather extremes fueled by global warming and climate change.
Today's summer solstice is bringing with it the first heat wave of 2025, putting much of the country under a severe heat warning. Let's get right over to WUFT's forecaster Aiden Wacksman with just how hot it'll get for us over the next few days.
Manuel, it feels really hot out there right now for us. 102 degrees is the feel-like temperature here in Gainesville, but we're staying in the hundreds across parts of north central Florida. Cedar Key, Bronson, good idea to be aware of heat illness, so heat illness, heat stroke. Just be aware of those things. Make sure you're staying cool and hydrated. These are the remnants of Hurricane Eric. After it made landfall, it really weakened quite quickly now, dumping rains across parts of Mexico. You can see a little bit of convection here just to the west of the Bay of Campeche, but the good news is for us, no new development expected in the next 7 days. There's just way too much wind shear at the upper levels for anything to get started, so that's good news for the rest of us here in Florida. Coming up next, I will let you know what to expect this weekend. It's the first day of summer, so it's going to be really hot out there. I'll let you know coming up.
Even as temperatures rise and hurricanes make landfall, north central Florida is staying prepared. Alachua County won the latest award for Florida's Emergency Management Program of the Year. Emergency Management Director Jen Grice was honored with the award June 11th. There were 3 emergency center activations last year for Hurricanes Debbie, Helene, and Milton. She said the county scaled up its shelters operations quickly and effectively in response. Grice said the award was a validation of the team's hard work to keep the community safe.
My name was on the award, but I think it's really an acknowledgement of the hard work that our Alachua County Emergency Operations team has put in over the last several years.
Grice says the county is looking to get new debris contractors to address issues with pickups from this past hurricane season. It took weeks for some neighborhoods to be cleared of their debris after Hurricane Milton. For the current hurricane season, count on UF as the home of the FPRN, the Florida Public Radio Emergency Network. You can also get the app by visiting floridastorms.org.
One of Gainesville's top outdoor facilities is finally back with a few new additions. Duval Nature Park officially reopened this morning with the ribbon cutting overseen by Gainesville City Commissioner Brian Eastman. New amenities will include upgraded barbecuing spots, a new playground and paths, as well as better parking for bikes and cars. Funding for the $237,000 improvement project comes from the Wild Spaces and Public Places Fund.
Having a place where people can actually come together, talk with each other, get to know one another. It's one of the best things the city does for our residents.
Wild Spaces and Public Places is funded by a 1% sales tax, with half of the revenue going towards recreation and the other half to infrastructure projects.
The Florida Attorney General seeks to develop an area near Florida's most famous wetlands while supporting President Trump's immigration agenda. Michael Hoffman has a story on why some environmental groups are given a firm no.
As I call it, Alligator Alcatraz.
In a Thursday afternoon post on X, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer says the facility would sit on the already constructed runway, would hold 1,000+ beds, and is surrounded by the Everglades, but it's not part of the Everglades National Park.
You don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide.
It comes as the Trump administration is calling for ICE to ramp up arrests and deportations across the country. But some environmental groups are calling on Governor Ron DeSantis to reject the plan.
It really strikes you as a clueless idea that was off the cuff.
Eve Samples, executive director of the Friends of the Everglades, says it's an awful idea.
This site is really important to Friends of the Everglades. It's actually the reason Friends of the Everglades was founded by Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in 1969 to stop what would have been the world's largest airport from being built right there.
She says for the same reasons it didn't work before, it won't work now.
Think about what could happen if we bring in a 1,000-bed prison, all the ancillary development you would need. We call on the governor to put a stop to this proposal right now. It's a terribly bad idea, and it could totally undermine any Everglades credibility he has remaining.
A Florida father is now behind bars after leaving his 18-month-old son in a hot truck for 3 hours. Investigators say on June 6th, Alan Gardner left 18-month-old Sebastian in his hot truck with just a small portable fan. When Gardner returned to the vehicle, he found his son unresponsive. He then drove to his mother's house before contacting authorities. Officials say that by the time he called for help, the child had already been dead for 1 or 2 hours. Alan Gardner was taken into custody on Thursday on accounts of aggravated manslaughter of a child and child neglect.
I don't think there's a penalty on this earth that could ever fit for the crime that was committed here. It absolutely shocks the conscience for this, that this even happened. There's no reason whatsoever.
According to NoHeatstroke.org, there were 39 pediatric vehicular heat stroke deaths in 2024 and 6 prior to this one in 2025.
An intense multi-day operation involving more than 30 local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies has ended. They found more than 24 missing children who have been missing from 10 days to more than a year. The rescue operation conducted by the Northeast Florida Intercept Task Force successfully recovered over 20 missing children from Northeast Florida in the span of 3 days. Law enforcement officials partnered with the National Child Protection Task Force and the Tim Tebow Foundation to bring the children to safety. These partnerships between law enforcement and independent agencies help recover the children, then set them up with resources for a more secure future. When First at 5 returns, President Trump consulting with top officials regarding the conflict in Iran, the timeline he has now set for a decision.
And world leaders meeting around the world trying to negotiate peace as Israel and Iran continue the trade fire.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
The European Union is holding talks on Iran in Geneva today, as President Trump says he'll make a decision on getting involved in the Middle East within 2 weeks. As NBC's Garrett Hake reports, this is coming as 130 American evacuees from Israel arrive in Florida.
As Iran and Israel exchange fire, a last-ditch effort at diplomacy is underway to avoid U.S. military involvement and a major escalation in the newest conflict in the Middle East.
The world is watching with growing alarm. We are not drifting toward crisis. We are racing toward it.
NBC News confirming Iran's missiles striking an area just a mile from an Israeli military base. Iranian officials met today with European counterparts in Geneva, searching for a path back to nuclear negotiations. But Iran's foreign minister says as long as Israel launches missiles, his country will not negotiate. President Trump gave himself 2 weeks to make a decision on whether to bomb Iran or give Israel bunker-busting weapons to reach Iranian nuclear infrastructure buried deep underground. He has said any deal must include a ban on Iran enriching uranium, which that country has refused. NBC News has learned the president is relying on a small group of advisors, one that does not include Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth taking a minor role, according to 2 defense officials and a senior administration official, though the Pentagon says that's false. But as the world waits for the president's decision, people in the Middle East are speaking out, and Americans in Israel are getting out.
It'd be like at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, and you just have to go straight to the bomb shelters. And you have to hide because then all you can hear is just boom, 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 rockets flying everywhere. It's really scary, you know?
The president spends the next few days shuttling back and forth between Washington and New Jersey before he's expected to travel to the Netherlands to attend a NATO summit. Now, despite leaving a G7 summit in Canada earlier this week, White House officials insist the president will attend this meeting with allies in Europe. Garrett Haake, NBC News, the White House.
Coming up, summer is officially here. I'll let you know just how hot things could get this weekend. Coming up next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Although today is the first day of summer, I'm pretty sure many will say that it's been feeling like summer for a few weeks now.
Yeah, and I'm sure our viewers at home would agree with you. It's been hot and it's been real humid outside.
Humid is the best way to describe things because it just really feels that way out there. It's actually the first day of summer today. I know it has really not felt like it, but we are actually the farthest away from the sun right now, but because we are tilted toward it, we're getting all of that light and all of that heat, exactly why it's summer here. Today is going to actually be the longest day of the year for us. We're at over about 13 hours of daylight, around 14 hours of daylight actually. So it's felt like a long day, and the heat really isn't helping very much because it's 94 degrees out there right now. Feels like it's a little bit hotter. The wind not really helping to cool things off much. You can see a couple of clouds overhead, maybe some thunderstorms trying to get developed in our area here in Alachua County, but pretty unlikely for the rest of the evening, at least in our area. But parts of Marion County could see some of these storms, and they actually are seeing them right now. You can see some of these popping up in parts of Dixie County too, around Cedar Key, Citrus County, some of these stronger storms. But once you get north of about the northern parts of Marion County, we're steering pretty clear of rain, at least for now. Along 75, maybe some showers and thunderstorms popping up the rest of the evening. You can see around Fort McCoy some heavy rain and a little bit of lightning with that storm there, not moving very much. It's been a trend with a couple of these storms over the past couple of days. The hourly forecast, around 10 o'clock is when we'll start to see those showers and thunderstorms taper off, and early tomorrow morning we'll be at about 72 degrees, so maybe 2 to 3 degrees cooler than we've been the past couple of nights. Temperatures 94 at the airport here in Gainesville, 91 at Cedar Key, at 82 degrees at Daytona, so staying pretty cool over there because of a sea breeze, but for us over land, not so much luck because it feels like it's 100 degrees out here in Gainesville. Parts of north central Florida, Cross City, Cedar Key, we're really staying like it's feeling like about 100 degrees. The humidity not helping things much either. Dew point, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, 71 degrees dew point in Gainesville. That's pretty high. We're in about the mid 70s, so it really is feeling muggy out there. The rest of the evening, showers and thunderstorms should be tapering off later tonight, but at 6 o'clock could still see some of those showers pop up along 75. Saturday into the weekend could see some of those pop up again. A much more scattered in nature though on Saturday, and on Sunday we get to see those rain chances really drop off. Cloud cover also dropping off a little bit. Should be clearing up a little bit too, so it should feel pretty nice. Beach forecast looking like a pretty good weekend to go to the beach, at least on Sunday, but Saturday around 2 o'clock, 11 a.m. It's pretty nice out there, but 5 o'clock is when we could see the possibility for some of those showers and thunderstorms. Best time to pack up the beach gear. Make sure to pack some sunscreen this weekend. 7-day outlook staying above average in temperature. Things might clear up a little bit next week. I'll have one final look at the weather coming up.
As temperatures climb, many homeowners are searching for ways to beat the heat without breaking the bank. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest on a few simple steps that can keep your home cool and save you some money.
With summer heat bearing down, Josh Locker with Oxair USA says energy bills are a growing concern for many American families.
Homeowners say they're more cautious about summer spending and worried about how they're going to afford to cool their homes.
Locker says small steps like filter changes and outdoor unit cleanings make a big difference.
Change your filter out, wash your condenser. After you mow the grass, make sure you clean that condenser off, wash all those grass clippings that may get on the condenser outside.
And timing matters. Putting off maintenance can turn into costly repairs.
If one thing breaks, it could take out another and another.
Temperatures are expected to rise across parts of the Northeast and central U.S. in a prelude to next week's heat dome. The heat dome is forecast to expand across the central and eastern U.S. by the weekend, covering parts of the southern plains to the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. High temperatures across these regions are expected to soar at least 15 degrees above normal and will mark the hottest temperatures of the year to date, rising into the 90s. Humidity will make it feel even hotter.
The big thing that I would say is if you take a shower, make sure and turn your exhaust fan on, because every time you're running water in the house, you're actually adding humidity as well. But keeping the doors closed, in and out as fast as you can.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And back on the diamond, they'll be crowning a College World Series baseball champion this weekend. LSU will take on Coastal Carolina starting Saturday at 7 p.m. Expect this to be high scoring. Both of these teams are averaging 8 or more runs per game in the tournament. Coastal Carolina is scorching its way through opponents, currently riding a 26-game win streak. The teams previously faced each other in the 2016 Baton Rouge Super Regional. Coastal Carolina took both of those games en route to its first national championship. And to wrap things up, Florida third baseman Bobby Bozer earned his first ever All-American honor. Bozer was named a third-team All-American by Baseball America. He joins Aiden King and Brendan Lawson on the list of Gators who have been selected as All-Americans this season. We'll take a final look at weather after the break.
It'll be pretty hot and humid outside this weekend. If you're going to the beach, make sure to pack some sunscreen, have a nice umbrella ready, and then early next week, the rain might actually clear. Tuesday, Wednesday, looking pretty nice out there. Hot, but at least clearer skies.
You know, sunscreen doesn't sound like a bad idea, but thanks for joining us, y'all. We're back here on Monday for another edition of First at 5.
And as always, you can catch your North Central Florida news at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.